This is my comments about the Venus Project. I've been in the last few days in discussion with uh, this guy that is in support of this Venus Project. Now, for a good part of this project makes a lot of sense. Everything about it I truly, truly love. But there are definite flaws. They even admit there is flaws. And um, the biggest flaw that we need to get over is the communication. There is no communication, there is no understanding. If you see a flaw in the system, and by meaning a flaw means we're redesigning the same system as we've got right now. And the ones that are sort of angry, the ones that are sort of disagreeing with the system, I disagree with the system right now, is the fact that if you come to them with some logic, if you come to them with, hey, here's a problem, then they perceive you as being illogical. They start calling you names. They say that you're irrational, that um, you're crazy. They throw so many negative names at you while you're trying to communicate with them. And they're only dealing with their own frustration. They don't understand, well, what would make me say that? They've got this system that says we understand why human behavior is acting this way, particularly with crime. This is the biggest thing, is they have a very good understanding that all crime has a cause, and you're a circumstance of your social conditioning. And that if we have this level of understanding, then we would reduce crime, which is perfect sense. However, while they are designing this system, they can't even communicate or show understanding to people that want to participate in this program. If you come at them with a flaw, there is no understanding. It's my way and you're crazy. So and these are the guys that are designing the system. They're the guys that say, my way is right. Yes, there's flaws, but I don't really give a shit about the flaws right now. I'm going to design this system so it's done my way. And my way is, I'm not going to communicate with you. So I have a huge problem with that, because that's where we're at right now, is we have government systems that aren't communicating with us. And if we're going to design systems, especially computer systems, that are designed not to be able to receive information, to receive the complaints that people have in their experience, not your experience, but their experience, if you can't receive that information and make adjustments while you're developing it, that's pretty scary, because you're going to develop a system that can't receive information. Basically, the biggest problem that I see with this Venus project is they have a good picture of the end result. I'm all for this picture of the end result. And what we can't comprehend is most people, if you're in agreement of it, then you love that picture. If you're in disagreement, you still love that picture. You just see flaws that you're trying to communicate with. Otherwise, why are you disagreeing with it? You're disagreeing with it because you want it, but something's wrong with it. So I'm more in favor of all of these people that are in disagreement with this system. And once we get to a point where there is no disagreement, then we're ready to design the system. We know where we want to go, which is like position B, and where we're at right now is position A. And we don't know how to get from A to B yet. So the first line of defense that we need to do is the designers of the system need to develop the mentality that they want in the future. if they have that mentality that they have in the future at the end goal of that project, then they'd be able to communicate with society. They'd be able to communicate with the people that are making the complaints. They'd be able to receive our complaints and our concerns. And one of the biggest complaint and concern I have is I want the designers, whoever's going to be in control of the system, to be able to listen to what I need. If you can't do that now, then I know you're designing it so it can't be done in the future. I will know you're on track when you're able to communicate with me. And so that's the problem I have with the system is lack of communication. It's exactly the same system we have now. The system we have now had the same intentions of we want everybody to be happy. The system we have now is the greater good, at the cost of, somebody's going to suffer for the greater good. So who are the ones that are going to suffer? What is this exception rule that we have that we're not willing to overcome? Every one of us can, anybody that's complaining can see that if you don't look at those flaws, that means you're going to do harm to me, so I'm going to object to it. There is a reason why people are in disagreement with it. And the ones that are designing should take responsibility and accountability that something needs to be corrected and adjusted. Don't talk about, oh, we'll do it later. You're designing the system now. Do it now. There is no future. You're designing the future exactly the way you are now. So that's the problem I have with this Venus project. Get the mentality that you wish to have in the future and have it now, and be able to communicate a lot more effectively. The name calling just shows me that you think you're better than me, and you're going to design a system where those who think that they're better are the ones that are going to benefit the most. And that's the system we have right now. That is the slavery that we're dealing with right now. That's the insanity that we're dealing right now. And if you can't see that in our now, you'll never see what you're unfolding in our future. And yeah, I very much see like the Terminator movie. I'm educated in computer programming. I see this mentality. When you design any computer system, you develop business rules. If one rule is flawed, it will be our destruction. So I am so against a computer system that is in any way, shape, or form going to look after us, because we are the designers of that computer system. And if we can't see the flaws while we're designing it, then these computers have the ability to basically think for themselves. That's where technology is going for. That's where we think technology, if we improve on technology, that eventually it'll be able to think for itself. And like these are like super smart computers. I forget the name of them, but they're basically designing computers to think for themselves and make decisions. And ultimately, it's the business rules that are in place as they started. And once you push that button and you get the system running, and it's too late when it start making its own business rules, it's too late to find out that, hey, we should have looked at that flaw. That guy that was complaining, the guy that was kind of concerned that, oh, you're going to kill me? Should have listened to him. And then we could have prevented it. It's sort of like, the Gulf and all that oil spill. We know how to do things right, but we choose not to do what's right because we're too busy thinking, I know it all. I don't have to listen to you. You're the irrational one. You're the stupid one. So it is very frustrating. I leave these conversations extremely frustrated. And they are frustrated and everybody's frustrated. And while you're frustrated, you're developing nothing. And you can't see why it's not just jumping in. And you're waiting until the economy completely crashes, while it crashes, people are going to be so rageful, and then you think you're going to be able to communicate with them better when they're even more frustrated than they are now. That's insanity. Peace out.